There are some vehicles that you want to drive and some that, well, heck, it's just as good to be driven in. This is one such case. Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Robertson. Now, what we have this week is a definition of luxury, the 2017 Audi A8 with that little L, meaning a little extra long. The flagship sedan for Audi should do exactly what you see here, adorn itself in black, because after all, when it comes to luxury, first thing I think of is tuxedo black, and that's what we have here. Now, the Audi A8 comes in, of course, several editions, even has a limo model and an armored edition. Now, what I like here is this is the L model, obviously delivering a little bit more length, meaning it's just going to be just as fun to sit in the back seat as it is right here. To truly understand the overall numbers here, you got to realize that this is creeping in almost to a full-size SUV. Now, by the numbers, you're looking at about 207 inches overall. Wheelbase really stretched around about 122 inches. Now, height, not too bad, about 5 feet tall. Not too bad for this 6-foot frame. Now, what is standard are 19-inch wheels. What you see here is 20-inch. Now, when you look at the overall profile, what you're going to see, of course, is body color all the way around. Nice accents when it comes to the chrome placements, pretty much here and there, not too blinged out. That's to be expected on such a regal vehicle. Also along this line, nice elongated hood and a fairly stout rear end. A8 definitely delivers that regal profile, but it also has that grille warfare starting right here in this Pentagon-like front grille, really stylizing with some nice bright chrome, which you're going to see a little or less of when you're at different angles. What you're really going to notice is the amount of airflow with this huge open face style grille. What you're also going to see a lot of other airflow ports down low here, even on the side, all operational. Now, also is the amount of body color wrapping around, even with this nice lower fascia. Also, these nice headlights, really menacing, and what you'll see at night is that nice LEDs have come a long way, giving you a lot of stylizing down here, wrapping around the main headlight assembly. And open air grille is definitely going to help keep that engine nice and cool and, well, gobble some bugs up, and you can see just the amount of airflow. You also see down low the airflow here and even on the driver's side. One thing to note, the porthole that looks the same on the passengers, well, it's just there for aesthetics. Now, try not to get lost in the beauty of this vehicle, because there's a lot more than just skin deep when it comes to this A8. There's also some brains behind this beaut. First thing it's going to start at is at the door, really with the smart key systems. Now, every vehicle's doing this. This is nothing new, but they take it to another level. Now, pretty much you're going to keep this key in your pocket all the time and rarely probably even going to use it. What's great is it all starts at the door, and they truly deliver with that sensitive like approach. No buttons to press, no arduous task here. Just simply put your hand right here and it knows you're there. One thing you'll notice on the driver's side is when you do that, it'll open that one specifically, then you'll go through another process to really unlock. Here on the passengers, it's going to unlock for everyone. Now, even better is it all translates back here to the fill-up area. I talk about it all the time, and security really is job 2 here when it comes to the fill-up. Now, what this vehicle does is lock it in coordination with the car. When the vehicle's unlocked, of course, you can get right in and fill it up. There's a lot of conveniences focused here at the front area, but they also do it here at the back end. First, starting with the parking sensors. That's a radar-like system you're going to find on a lot of vehicles, but really ultrasonic here. Sweeping across the rear bumper really allows it to project backwards and sense anything in the way. Also coupled with that rear camera. Another convenience starts right here at the rear deck lid, allowing you to gain access quite easily. First, starting with the key fob, press the button, hold it. It's going to rise to the occasion. If your hands are full and you can reach down here, grab the handle, press there. It's going to get out of the way, but you can also simply use your foot right here, put it underneath, and it's going to raise that right up. Once the trunk lid's opened, first thing you'll notice is the extra wide opening right here. That's going to accommodate golf clubs real easily. Now, here on the cargo floor, one thing I didn't expect was truly this cargo net, but that really was helpful, helping to keep things from slinging around. There's a nice pocket built in, slide things in there. What I truly did is put things under here, really made it nice and gripped down. Now, I'm not going to pull the floor open, but what's surprising under there is a nice full-size spare. Now to fold this out of the way, there is a corresponding button right here. And one thing you're gonna notice, there is a pass-through, basically allowing you to put your bigger items, maybe an extra golf club or something needs to go through there, whatever it may be, that will allow you to pass through. Now there is no foldability for those back seats, and I'll explain that in a minute. You can take all the people in the luxury and put it in a car, but you still gotta deliver right here under the hood. So let's take a look. For this particular model, it was the 3.0 liter supercharged and intercooled V6 engine. That's going to deliver around about 333 horses and 325 foot-pounds of torque. The engine is coupled with the 8-speed automatic transmission and, of course, the Quattro all-wheel drive system. Have you ever been in a rush and forget to close the door, and basically as it closes, it gets stuck in kind of that in-between lock phase? Well, that's just not the case here. What it's going to have is that somewhat self-closing mechanism. Pretty much get it close, and as it does, it's going to cinch tighter. That's really going to help you make sure this vehicle is nice and secure, and just one more added feature. Regardless of all the comfort anywhere in this vehicle, you truly still want to be right here behind the wheel. Now, what you're going to see is it feels somewhat like a Boeing 747. Now, I haven't cranked this up, so one wow factor is still a little bit hidden, but really it starts right here. Nice overall comfort, a little bit of control panel here, modest kind of understanding you have to get used to here. Now, what I like is the legroom numbers. What you're going to see is around about 41 inches up front. Plenty of movement back and forth to find your comfort. What's interesting, a little secret, there's about an inch more for the backseat drivers. With this extra long wheelbase, one thing you'll notice is that, well, the second row is really where a lot of people are going to find their home. It really starts with this type of movement. Someone, well, opening the door for you. What you're also going to notice is the level of privacy back here. Now, again, this is not the security level model, meaning it's not armored, but where it starts is right here at the window. This vehicle giving you that limo-like feel. Now, trust me, people call this a shade or sunshade. I call it a limo shade. Now, what's great is there is no fiddling with it. It is automated, all starting right here on the passenger's door. First off, you do have the sunshade. Pretty much pull here, it's going to rise to the occasion. Now, if you want to operate the window, what you'll have to do is put it down, then put the window down. That's just going to give you that extra security slash shading from the sun. What's even better, here on the controls, you do have the back shade, which you can control. You have the other door that you can control, and you have the rear sunroof that you can control as well. If you can ever take a moment to get out of the driver's seat and climb into the second row, one thing you'll notice is the abundant amount of comfort. First starting with that added legroom and, man, all the extra space. First thing you'll notice is even with the seat backs as far back as they go, plenty of knee space, even for my 6-foot-plus frame. Secondly is the sunshades we mentioned earlier, really above you, behind you, and on the sides, all adaptable to what you want. And even on a sunny day like this, really minimizing all the overall glare. That comes into play, especially when you're doing business. Also talking about business comes down to comfort. First starting with the seats. Now, most back seats, pretty much what you're going to get. These are controllable, starting with the individualized controls on both sides, allowing you to lay it back, move it forward, even heat them up. That's going to add some extra comfort just when it comes down to your position. Lastly is climate. This vehicle having 4 climate controls, basically dual zones up front and dual zones back here. Both side occupants being able to dial in their specific setting. Starting with temperature, really using these controls to get it down to what you want. Also fan speed, each person having their own setting. All these controls right here where you want them, and heck, even better, nice little storage. That's all going to equate to comfort 4 times over. Diving into the creature comforts just a little bit more. Again, what you're going to see back here is controls for both seats and all that, and the climate. And you're going to have a little bit of power supply right here. Nice power outlets on both sides, one for each passenger, and heck, even a lighter right in the middle. Kind of a little bit old school. Most people aren't smoking in their vehicles, but you do have that. What you also have is a nice vanity mirror for both sides, because you got to be able to look good before you climb out, because you got to match the vehicle. Now, going back to the climate, what you're going to see back here is the dual vents right here in the middle. But one thing you rarely find is vents here on the side, and you're truly getting that airflow back here when you need it. Anytime you step into the back area, you're going to notice the comfort is abundant. And one thing you're also going to notice is places to put the entertainment, specifically the latest newspaper and magazines for those long journeys. For the rear occupants, you're going to have a nice elbow support, but where the cup holders, well, they're hidden right here. They'll pop out when you need them. With the available cigarette outlet here in the back and in the front, well, you're going to need a place to put those ashes, and they still deliver that here in the door, known as an ashtray. The center armrest can definitely tuck out of the way if you need to have room for a third occupant, but one thing to note, well, there's a slight hump where your feet go. When you first turn on the car, basically the entertainment's going to be hidden but come out. Now that's going to be the nice screen, but it's not going to be a touch screen, probably like you're used to on other vehicles. Now what you're going to find is pretty much everything housed. This is the 747 kind of area I was referring to. Now the keypad on the left, I really didn't use that much. That's some presets and functions that pretty much I think we can get rid of this area. Now this is the main central knob. Now it's going to control pretty much everything on the screen. If you're familiar with Audi and their systems, it's broken into functions on the sides. That's going to be the little quadrants I'll show you in a second. The little knob will go up and down depending on what you're using. Now down here, what you'll notice on the knob is you have these areas here. These basically relate to the corner functions. This dials up and down. Now, unlike other vehicles where you'll toggle this left and right, this is simply a dial. These are your functions. Now, one thing I like about the system, there is a home screen, and this is where the dial will come in handy to select exactly what you're looking for. Pretty much what I used the most was the entertainment. You simply press the knob. Now, what I truly like, I didn't use any presets because truly I like the old school method of really scrolling through the dial and finding what you're looking for. Now, you can use the presets by hitting the corner button again. That's going to bring them up. That'll allow you to really use that keypad we mentioned. Otherwise, I really prefer the main screen. Now, one real function you want to get used to is the back button. Now, that's going to be helpful when you lose your way. Simply press that. That'll get you somewhat back to where you started from. But the menu button, truly it's going to be the starting point and then go from there. When you press the car button, this is going to allow you to set your driving dynamics. Now, it's all again here in front of you. Dial in your comfort, figure out what you want to do. Pretty much I put it on dynamic for the most part. Really like the auto, of course, if you want to set it and forget it. For the climate control up front, you'll find the dual zones just like the back, and basically everything starts with the temperature select here on the left and right. Nice simple knobs that's really going to individualize the front occupants. That's going to relate to the screen, so you really don't have to look down, but simply figure out what temperature you want to set. Each one will pop up as you use it. Now, another thing to think about really is the fan speed. There is no knob for that for simplicity's sake, but I got used to the fact that you really press this first, then your knob's going to transfer over to the fan speed. And again, both occupants up front can really set their individualized fan speed individually. Now, what you also have here is the indicators to the fan speed down here. One thing you can do if you have no occupants is simply press the sync. That's going to be helpful basically to forget about the controls over here and simply use the drivers. Between the front occupants, pretty much everything's going to be nice and sleek. First starting with the nice cover, keeping this all nice and clean looking. And of course, if you need function, it's there when you need it. Now for the gear shifter, nothing really standard here. Nice fact that you can pretty much press the button, switch into your particular gears, and you do have a sport mode if you want to use it. Now the start and stop button, not going to be found up here on the dash where you expect it. Instead, even more convenient, right by the driver's knee. Individualized comfort is one thing we've talked about. It even comes right down to the armrest. What you'll notice right off the bat is it's split down the middle, the driver having their comfort, the passenger having theirs. Even more so comes down to each side being able to access the somewhat shallow compartment. What you're also able to do is set the overall comfort, and the way you do that is by squeezing the handle here on the front. That will allow you to raise it up and down. That pretty much means that elbow support can be a little bit higher on one side versus the other. There's numerous different positioning that you can set, let go of the handle, and it will make it whatever you want. I love fuel economy, I love saving gas, but one area that is aggravating is the auto start, auto off, and that is a function a lot of vehicles are coming with. The problem with most vehicles, if you want to opt out of it, you got to press this button here and turn it on and off each time you're in the vehicle. Fortunately, Audi fixes that. They press it one time, and until you turn it back on, it's going to remain off in case you don't like it like me. For the gauge, you're going to find a traditional analog speed and tachometer right there, nice and oversized, but even better was the digital readout in between, giving you lots of digital information. Best of all, the digital speed. With so many buttons down there to remember, you don't need a lot. Well, on the steering wheel instead, pretty much straightforward. One thing I like, instead of the traditional up and down button for the volume, I like the fact that it's kind of more of a rolling knob. That just feels a little bit more comfortable. To set your cruise control, you're not going to find a shortcut on the steering wheel, but instead tucked down below. Now it's going to take a little bit of memorization to remember which way to pull, push, and kind of set your speed. I also like the fact that it's adaptive cruise control with this little toggle up here to set your distance. One area that you can pretty much set and forget about it is right here with the headlights. Now I pretty much put it on auto, never really had to worry about it. Now what's really great is it has some extra fog settings, and the lights are really adaptive and bright. Now you do have your heads up display here as well. That's going to set the brightness and the positioning. Now what's also great with the headlights is they are the ones that go high beam to low beam automatically. To allow the luggage handler to get the things out of the trunk when you're at the airport, simply pull this handle here on the driver's door. That's going to pop the rear trunk. It's definitely a convenience to remember your driver's setting when it comes to your seat, but it's also really good to remember the one for the passenger. They have it as well. Auto windows is to be expected, but auto lock child safety doors, even better. One for the back driver's side and one for the back passenger. That'll help secure your doors should you be riding with children. You could say you may want to study when it comes to the seats because it takes a little bit of knowledge to just feel your comfort. Now what you're going to notice right off the bat is the nice quilted feel and just the enveloping of the seats themselves. Even better is the controls that allow you to set your comfort. Right off the bat, you'll notice there's numerous ones for lumbar, lower support, and the back. Also, there's a nice little button here, massage therapy. Now that does for this edition of Road Warrior and a test drive behind the wheel of the elegant Audi A8 L edition, pretty much delivering that extra 5 inches of length and all the comfort and innovation you could think of. Now a vehicle like this really couples well the grip at the 4 corners, a decent V6 engine, getting you around about 30 miles per gallon and enough leg room to stretch out all the way around. Now as always, thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. Keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.